Hi guys, me the Big B again with another new video. If I'm looking a bit red, it's not, your colour on your monitor or anything wrong. I did get quite sunburnt yesterday. Fell asleep outside and my face was suffering for it. But anyway, back to the video. Microsoft and obviously Sony. There's a big battle going on with the new consoles, and I just wanted to give my opinion, what I think, why I think Microsoft's kind of dropped the ball on this one, and just my rough opinions. I've had both machines in the past, when obviously not the new ones because they're not out yet, but I've had 360 and I've had PlayStation 3, and I've liked them both. They've both got strong points, they've both got weak points, but it doesn't really matter. Some have got exclusive titles, so is the other one, and then along comes the new consoles. Now, Microsoft, in all their wisdom, I don't know why they've done what they've done. You can only imagine all the top execs sitting around a table and thinking like, what can the new Xbox really be? What can we deliver? And then someone at the end sticking a hand up and saying, I've got a good idea. Let's see how many restrictions and how many piss takes we can fit into one console, and then see how many people buy it. And kind of that seems to what they've done. It's like, I can't believe some of the features this thing has, or not features, limitations. I mean, where do you start? The DRM, it's always got to be connected online, or what they said, yes and no. It has to communicate out to HQ every 24 hours. If not, you only get to play it for an hour and it shuts down. You've got a rather expensive brick. The response to that, when people sort of said, well, what about people with dodgy internet connections? What about people who don't have internet at all? Blah, blah, blah. We've got the perfect solution for that. We've redesigned the 360 and we're going to chuck that out at the same time. That's not exactly a solution to the problem. This thing of mandatory install of games, which I don't see as a big problem in itself, because obviously they run a lot faster running from a hard drive than they would from a Blu-ray player, and it saves wear and tear on your Blu-ray player, I suppose. But the problem being that these games are quite large. You've not only got the install of the games, but you've got the updates for said games. You've got all the stuff you might want to download from the marketplace and things like that. And they've only put a 500GB hard drive in this thing. I mean, most people in a PC, and again, PC's a mandatory install. You have to install the games. So, like I said, that bit's not a problem to me. I don't mind that bit. But most people have got like at least a terabyte hard drive in there, and some people have got 2 terabytes, now 3 and plus. And multiple hard drives, because installing stuff takes up a lot of space. This shit does take up a lot of room. So they've put the smallest goddamn acceptable hard drive that they can. You're not going to get a lot on 500GB hard drive. So I don't understand why they've done that. It should have had a minimum a terabyte hard drive in this thing, and they haven't. Now again, second major problem. Yes, they've said you can plug external hard drives in. I don't want to put a fucking external hard drive in. This thing's big enough as it is. I just want a big internal hard drive, big internal storage. Shouldn't be a problem this day and age for these people. Next problem. They pushed at E3, they were pushing all these, it can watch your telly on it, you can watch all these sports on it, you can do all this thing, the new Connect and all the motion thing and instant TV. Because there isn't a device that can already do that, obviously. Like your Skyboxes, your TiVo boxes, your on-demand, your free thing. Hell, most people have got like free thing built into the TVs now. So, a console, by definition, to me, is a gaming machine. I want it to play games. I don't want it to sit there and watch telly. Yes, I might want to watch a film on it every now and again. Like I've done on the PlayStation and things, and the Xbox in the past, stick a DVD in and away it goes. It's handy for that, but I don't want it to be an all-round entertainment system, because when you do that, when you try and stick everything in one box, you kind of like, which they've lost the focus on the true thing. I want to jump on the couch, get a controller, smash a game out, job done. I don't want to have this thing, it doesn't need to be an all-in-one system. And they're pulling away from like what it really is as a games machine. And I know I'm going to have a lot of fanboy hate mail about this and things, which I'm used to by now. Because like I say, both machines have the problems, which I will get to the PlayStation in a minute. The gaming side of it, they've showed very little gaming, and it's all sports of the game they have thing. Now that's not a problem if people like, there's a lot of people who like sports games. But, it's just this push towards an all-in-one system that we don't really need per se. You know what I mean? There's plenty of other options out there. What we want as gamers is a games machine, and that's not quite what they've given us. This thing about when you do get your frigging game, you can't lend it to anyone. Well, actually, you can, because they recounted a little bit. You can lend a game to one single person only, and only if that person's been in your friend list for 30 days. And once you lend them that game, and it then locks it to him, that's it. You can't lend it to anybody else. Game over. Job done. Which means, obviously, a bit of a problem for you want to resell your games or rent games and all that business. All that shit is out the window. That's gone. And to me, that's taking away control. When I pay 60 quid or whatever the hell these games are going to be for a game, I should own that game. I don't. I'm friggin' renting it from Microsoft. I don't own the thing. I can't pass that game on. Well, I like to say, yeah, to one friend. I can't resell that game because it would be useless. I mean, come on. And Microsoft is saying, well, that's not just down to us. That's down to the games people writing the games. That's bullshit. They're saying that DRM, always online connection stuff, and you can't swap and change it. No, that's what you've built into this machine. That's you, Microsoft. The whole fucking console is DRM and all that shit, and has to communicate out and has to constantly be in communication with Microsoft HQ. And that's another thing. The actual new Kinect, yes, it sees in the dark. Christ, it can see which way your eyes are pointing. It's that accurate and can scan a lot more people and all that shit. But it has to be permanently online. And that's the problem, again, what other people have seen. And people said, well, what if I want to unplug the Kinect? I don't want the Kinect on, I just want to use the console. You can't. That Kinect has to be plugged into that console at all times, or else it won't work. It'll play holy hell. And they've said, well, it's because it's listening out, because when you just put it on the standby, it's listening for a command, Xbox on. But what the hell else is it listening to? I'm a bit uncomfortable with having a camera that's potentially permanently on and listening to what you're saying all the time, and especially when they've said you have to have this thing plugged into the internet at all times or you've got a brick. It just seems like, no, I want the option to be online and I want the option to have that Kinect on or off, but they've took that away from you. You don't have that choice, and that's what this whole thing is about. Choice. They've taken the choice away. This is what the console is, this is what you do if you think, and basically what they said is if you're not sort of compliant to all this, then fuck you, basically. End of. And it's not right. You shouldn't be taking all of that control. I know why they've done some of it, possibly piracy and things like that, which again, yes, but you're punishing a lot of hardened gamers who don't mind technically paying for the games for a few who pirate a few games. I mean, all this sort of control, you're trapping the gamer in. And again, the machine itself, there's been things like it's got kind of almost 3 operating systems on one, because it's almost 3 different machines. It's a television machine, it's a gaming machine, and other shit. I mean, it's a very complicated beast. And again, because they've had to spread all the technology out to encompass all these different things, the gaming side of it has been left behind a little bit. When you look at the spec, I know the spec doesn't make it the game, but it helps. The spec between the 2 machines, the PlayStation 4, is about 50% more powerful, raw power. I'm not saying that that'll make for a better game, that's up to the programmers, but power-wise, like sheer raw polygon pushing power, which when you think it's a gaming machine, we want all this graphics power and all this power, Microsoft's just trying to bite off more than they can chew in one go. To me, it's just not a good business idea, and especially when you've got die-hard Xbox fans who've had from the very first Xbox who've said, sod this, I'm not going to be forced to be constantly online, I'm not going to be forced to who I can lend my game to that I bought, which obviously now isn't mine because you telling me who I can lend a fucking game to, and stupid other things like saying that your friends and family in your house can share your library. Well, you could do that before. You could do that before on Xbox 360, you can still do it now on the PlayStation 4. Your fucking family comes in, you've got a pile of games, can I play on that? Yeah, you stick it in, bang, job done. Microsoft saying, we're giving you permission to share your library with your friends, but only if they live in the same fucking house. You can't lend a family member a game or you can, one of them, and then he can't lend it to anybody else. Job done. It's just too much restriction. Yes, the gaming still might be good. The Kinect, I still like the Kinect. I did a review of the original Kinect on the 360 when I got it, and I kind of liked the idea. It had potential, and the new Kinect's all, ooh, it can do all this much higher resolution, can do all this shit. But they've completely dropped the ball. They've completely, well, not just dropped the ball, they've completely lost the plot of their thing. And again, it all probably boils down to money. They want to squeeze as much money out as you can. They don't want you lending games. They want them people you're lending games to buy the fucking game. Sod that. And they just trying to suck as much money in as possible. And by doing that, they've restricted your control. And a lot of people, whether die-hard Xbox fans like it or not, people are going to jump ship when you look at the way PlayStation's done it. Again, their machine doesn't need to be online unless you want it to be online. You can friggin' pull the plug out the back if you've got it wired in, or you just don't connect online wirelessly. Your choice. If you want to play the game online, you connect online. If you want to lend a fucking game to your friend, you basically give him the game and say, right, see you later, off he goes. He can lend it to 20 of his friggin' friends and they can just play it like it's supposed to be. There's none of this DRM and this limiting who you can give your game to. When you buy that game, it is your game to do what you want. You can then sell it on. You can trade it in. You can do all the shit that we've always done since gaming machines came on the market. They're just leaving it the same. Why change what ain't broke? The machine itself, like I said, it's got more raw power under the hood. When you build a gaming machine, to me, for gamers, hardened gamers, that's what you have to do. They want better graphics, they want a better gameplay, they want a better machine. Where Xbox, they built a machine that is slightly better than the 360, but because they want them to encompass your whole fucking life, they want to control what you play, what you watch, when you watch it, how you watch it, and everything. It suffers as a result. Where the PlayStation 4, it's built for what it is, a gaming machine first and foremost. That's what they've concentrated on. It can still play a video, it's still got online services, it can still do iPlayer and Netflix and all that bollocks, but as a secondary thing. They're not forcing it down your throat. It's up to you. You can take that PlayStation, travel, go and plug it in your mate's house, off you go. Not an issue. You try and do that with an Xbox One. It ain't going to happen. It's not that easy. So, in a way, just for that alone, the PlayStation's won. They've just left alone what is the important issue, which is the gaming. And again, some of the games look awesome, some of the early tech demos, and hopefully, I'm not completely dissing the Xbox. I hope they do get some good games, and I hope they do have good games, and I hope they try and really concentrate on the gaming side of it. I really hope they do, because like I said, I did like both machines in the past. But for me, I'm going to go, I'm sorry about that noise if you can hear that, there seems to be a road sweeper going past outside, perfect timing. I'm kind of definitely looking towards the PlayStation 4. I like the Kinect, but the new PlayStation's going to have the new PlayStation Eye, which basically looks kind of Kinect thing, and it's high resolution. Again, some of the early tech demos had some really good features. Really like the look of it. Yes, you don't get that with it. You've got to buy it separate, and they say, well, the Xbox One comes with it, the Kinect. Fair enough, but it's a lot more expensive. Well, maybe it's not a lot more, but it's a bit more expensive. And I'm going for what I think. I want the Kinect on the Xbox is more based around what they've shown is wave your hands and you can swap channels on the TV. They haven't shown many games that use the damn thing. It's more at the minute pointing towards controlling your telly. I've got a friggin' remote control for that downstairs next to me TV. I want it for gaming, and they've shown a lot more sort of like potential with the PlayStation 1, and it definitely looks an interesting system. The Move that they had before is built into the controller now. It's got a light on the controller, it just looks all just kind of nice. And some of the early games and demos look amazing. And if this was the first generation of games that are coming out, which are always a bit dodgy on all releases, because you know the programmers are just getting used to the architecture and things, it's going to be brilliant. A few years down the line, it's going to be awesome. And I do hope Xbox pick up the ball with the gaming side and give some competition to Sony, because that's how things start hopping up when they've got a bit competition. And you know, it would be a shame for Sony to have the sole market and like jump miles ahead, because then they might get a bit lazy with the gaming and things. So I hope there is a bit of competition there. So I'm really hoping that, even though Microsoft have basically almost shot themselves in the head with this one, I hope they can pick it up a little bit, and you know, it might be sort of an interesting time. But for me, definitely edging towards the PlayStation 4. There's been a lot of shouting and twisting on saying, yeah, but the Xbox has got some really good exclusive games. Yes, they have, but so has PlayStation. It swings and roundabouts. You know, there's far too much of this like fanboy hater shit going on to me. The thing, you should just look at the console for what it is and what it does. If you like your Xbox, then play your Xbox and enjoy every minute of it. But then you don't have to like wish all PlayStation 4, you know, gamers dead, which some of them, you know, gets pretty heated. And the same vice versa. Just enjoy what you enjoy and what you've got. It doesn't matter whether the competition is better than what you have, as long as you are enjoying what you have. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to start saving up some serious money, because I would like to get the PlayStation 4, a good couple of the release games, and try and get the PlayStation Eye thing straight away. So I've got the whole setup. And I'm really looking forward to the future of gaming again. It got a bit stale for a while, and these systems are quite powerful. Even the Xbox One, I suppose, over the 360, but definitely the PlayStation 4 definitely got a lot of power under the hood there. And let's hope the programmers make the most of it and get us some really good looking games, some really juicy games, and start thinking outside the box a bit. Now they got this raw power under the hood, and let's see what they can come out with. And as usual, you can leave comments down below. I know I'm going to get some hater comments because I've had some builders lately, some trollers, some guys that seem to lock on, and I don't think they actually watch any of the videos. They just watch the first 10 seconds, hear me accent, and then just basically wished us dead, basically. And we'd like some really interesting comments, but you know, I'll let you lot slug that out down there. I'm not going to bow down to these guys anymore. I sent a couple of comments before and think, but it's not worth it. They're kind of therapy in a way for me, because no matter how sad you feel, how low you feel, and how miserable you are, you got to remember, like, when these idiots are posting these comments, there's always someone who's sadder and lonelier out there than you are, and got a worse life than you, to be posting shit like that on a daily basis. They must do. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I'm going to make another video on another subject on the phone side of things that I do on the iOS 7. So if you check my channel out, you'll see that as well. Just my thoughts on that as well, because that looks quite interesting. About time that Apple picked up the ball a little bit. They were getting a bit stale with the operating system. Looks kind of interesting. So look out for that. It will be coming soon. And thanks for watching, guys. And we shall catch you next time.